Therapy Army, how are we doing? Welcome. It's Friday then. It's Friday. It's Friday when. It's Friday. You see, even Jarvis, aka Astley,
Rick Astley.
Rick Astley is getting involved. Big up to you all, Therapy Army. Let's be having
Yep.
you. Love and light to you all. Smash a like on your way in. We've got a jam-packed show for you tonight. And we can't wait to go through the things. So on tonight's, what's coming up on the show, we're going to be talking about the protests. Maguire's still here, and we haven't got a cover for Casemiro. The club is just absolute joke. And to top it off, the decision on Mason's future at Manchester United, the club have put it on the women's team. Honestly, we're run by imbeciles, by clowns. They're so out of touch, it's unbelievable. But big up to you, Therapy Army. You are certainly never out of touch. And there's nothing clownish about you guys. But smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. We're going to get into it. And man like Jarvis. Bowley 77, and you know it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Those of you who don't know, get to know. It is a pleasure to see you always, brother. I hope you're well. I hope the family's well. I can see. Yeah, actually, tonight it looks a bit cloudy. Mm-hmm. It looks a bit cloudy in northern.
It's getting darker at night.
Yeah, it's getting darker and it's a bit cloudy as well up there. Big up to you, Jarvis. How you doing? How's family? Yeah. It's looking hard at work after being on holiday. Back to reality. Back to life.
It's a wake-up call, you know. It's always like that when you come back to work after being on holiday for 3.5 weeks. But, you know, you just got to man up and do your thing and go back to work. So
you just got to be human, I think. It's not even about man. You just got to be human and just think, damn, I wish I could have took 3 more weeks. You know what I mean? Made it 6 weeks. But, yeah. But big up to you, man.
You know how it is, Nuruddin. You know, if it was Christmas every day, it wouldn't be special. So it's just one of those things. You gotta have the yin to the yang, or what do you call it? Balance.
Of course. Big up. Manchester United regret setting a deadline on the announcement of Mason Greenwood. Mm-hmm. Absolute clown. I told you, we are run by absolute clowns. Clowns. We're going to be talking about all sorts of things, but let people get in here. I've had a lovely day. The weather's been quite nice for a change in Manchester. We've had 2 good days of nice weather, sunshine. We saw the sun after not seeing it for weeks and weeks, people. We saw the sunshine and the weather was warm. A group of Man UFC fans are planning a protest to let the club know they don't want Mason Greenwood back. The banner will be displayed before Monday's game against Wolves. Yeah, big up. I know some of the people who are on that and they've also wrote a letter to the club, but the club are absolutely surreal. Yeah, big up Nuruddin Jack. Yeah, man, free Palestine always. Big up to you, Matthias. Big up. Says here. Big up to everybody. Big up, yeah, man. And then we go here. Please make me a director of football. I would bring us top quality players instead of these Finnish players like Mount, who's come to United only because of the wages. Glazers.
Yeah, it's not entirely true. You know, we had the same offer with wages from Chelsea, but he chose to go to Man United. So it was what he wanted, to be honest.
Yeah, listen, it is what it is. Big up.
Not only because of the money.
Yeah, listen. No, he's definitely on the brand, Jarvis. There are brand that he's on. He used to represent David Beckham, and that's why he's took the number 7 shirt. So he's definitely making himself a brand. That's what people are now, footballers. They become a brand. So he's definitely been branded up. But definitely, I think, I don't know what wages Manchester United are paying him, to be fair. And it's difficult to speculate about players' wages, to be honest with you. But big up to everybody.
They said it was about 200K a week, something in that area. So what do you think of Mason Mount this preseason? Have you seen him? Or
to be fair, you know what? I don't judge too much on the preseason, Jarvis. If I'm going to be honest with you, I try to not judge new signings of the preseason. I always give new signings time to bed in, time to settle in, and I always give them the time to get used to the way of playing, the club. You know what I mean? I'm always like, they get grace. When you're a player, even if you played in the Premier, you get time and grace with me. So, and I never judge, I never get overhyped either way, where we're playing really bad or we're playing really good. I don't, because I've seen too many preseasons, as you know, Jarvis.
Yeah.
And the preseasons, they can lull you into a false expectations. So we don't want any of that, and I stay clear of that. But we'll see. We'll see tomorrow. I mean, no, tomorrow, on Monday. It's going to be a very interesting day. Wow. So Manchester United have decided to postpone decision on Mason as the investigations enters consultation phase with key stakeholders. Absolute joke. Listen, we're going to come back to this, but let's get onto it tonight quickly, because the only thing that on this channel, what we're interested in is action taken by fans. So big up to everybody. No, Windy, I would not take Jamie Vardy. I'm sorry, Jamie Vardy is on his last legs. He's so injury prone now. It's unbelievable. No, I will not take him. No chance. I don't know what it is. This fan base with Simmer framed, like literally players who are in a wheelchair or who are on a Simmer frame. Simmer frame FC comment that, but I will not take him. No.
Johnny Evans,
3 years
Jamie
ago.
Vardy.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. But you know what? It's a shout. That's an opinion. Some would though, wouldn't Windy. Some fan base would, but I certainly do not want any granddad over the hill footballers, because that's what we are. We're over the hill. What have we got in common with most footballers we buy? We're both over the hill and past it. That's who we are. That's what Manchester United are.
Yeah. Like if we had 3 strikers and Jamie Vardy was the third striker option, maybe we could take him on a free just to fill up the squad. But at the moment, no.
Yeah. Big up to everybody. Yeah, big up to everybody. Love and light. Let's get into the first topic tonight. Protest. So the protest planned before the game. Anti-Glazer protest. And I'm genuinely looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to saying my 2 pence on the protest, and hopefully try to get letting them know clear message to the vultures that own this football club, and to basically tell them to absolute do one. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then there is also a protest for some women's group to support Manchester United. They will be having a banner in the stadium. They're fighting to highlight and to make people aware of the violence that and abuse that happens to women on a daily, globally, not just here but everywhere around the world. Men's inhumanity to women, dehumanizing women and the violence and abuse, everything that comes with it. So good on them, big up to them. We're gonna be. That's what's planned. So big up to everybody who's coming to the game on Monday. Make sure you get there early, around 6-ish, and make sure you're there for the protest. Genuinely, make sure you're there for the protest.
So Nuruddin, I have a question for people who are not involved with the club. Like, let's say a lot of Norwegian or Scandinavian people go to Manchester. How do they get involved with the protest? Who do they talk to? Where do they go?
Social media. Be on social media, bro. Okay. Social media.
Yeah, but if they go to Old Trafford to see the game, I mean.
Yeah. All they have to do is know where we're meeting. And you know what? They'll hear the fans. If they're in a city centre and they're making their way to the game, they will literally hear the fans on the street. And all they have to do is look on social media, look on 1958. 1958 are doing at the moment, they're doing the main protest. So it's gonna be, so they're planning 2 protests, one against so it'll be at the Trinity, Trinity, just in the forecourt. Trinity Way, that's what it would be. Now, so the Wolves one will be there. We're going to meet around 6:30, around 6 o'clock. Some people go a bit earlier. And then the other one, same. It'll be on Trinity Way, next to the Trinity statues. So it'll be on the forecourt. Yeah, the protest will be there. We'll probably go outside the shop and do a protest there, and then we're getting the tunnel and the flares and everything that go up. So it will be what will be. So that's what they need to do. They just need to always check out, because 1958 are the ones who organized the actual protest these days. That's what they need to do. Yeah.
Yeah, everything comes out on their Twitter account, or X account, so people can follow the 1958s.
Yeah, we can still call it Twitter. We don't have to call it X. It will always be Twitter for me.
Yeah.
But big up to all of you watching. Please smash a like. There's 100 of you in here already. Big up to everybody. But yeah, so that's how people are going to get involved. So the biggest message is keep an eye on Twitter, 1958. And if you're in around City Centre, especially on a match day, you come in here, you're visiting, you should be listening out for a protest. Sorry. Bit wiped out, long day. Long week.
You have been involved with all of those protests. Would you say they are entirely peaceful? Is it safe to bring your kids and teens and everybody?
This is it. Yeah. They've always been peaceful, they've always been peaceful for me. And the police sometimes push it. They push it with the horses and stuff like that and get people going. And at times, I think the police have just tried to get a reaction from the fans.
Yeah.
The majority of it, we just have our banners. We sing anti-Glazer chants. That's what we do. Yeah. And the main thing is that the protest is just visibility and to let other fans aware that the owners are literally destroying the football club and have been for the past however long. You know, Fergie was papering over the cracks. I keep having to remind people again and again and again, but that's the truth. Fergie was saying no value in the market. And you see how CDMs are going right at the moment. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you think Ten Hag's manager to get us competing major? No. For me, no manager is doing that while the Glazers are there. Mark my words. They're not. I don't believe that Manchester United can go on compete for the Premier League and the Champions League while the Glazers are there. I genuinely don't believe that. I'm hoping I'm wrong. But if he does, it'll be despite of them, not because of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is what it is. Tyler, you can want anybody back. Unfortunately, I can't unhear or unsee what we saw on social media. So for me, it's a no for me. That doesn't mean that Greenwood can't carry on his professional career somewhere else, but not at Manchester United. Not for me. That's it. Yeah, and don't worry, don't have to post it again. I'm happy to post your thing. We accept everybody's opinion as long as you're not being abusive here. No, there's going to be, So there's going to be a protest inside the stadium with the banners who are saying women's supporters saying, no, they don't want Greenwood here. Yeah. Yeah, man. Big up to the motherland, man. Big up to everybody in East Africa as well. Love and light. Yeah. Listen, I've sent you the link, brother. If it's the other brother, I don't know if it is, but yeah. Big up to everybody. The love and light. Here we go. We got Bumbaye in the house. So Bumbaye.
Bumbaye.
Hey, there he is. Man, I had the light on, man. Big up to you, bro. So yeah, the protest. That's the first thing to get off that chest. The protest is happening. 2 protests planned. Both of them meeting outside Trinity Way in the forecourt outside the stadium, and then there will be women's group United supporters with banners inside the stadium saying they don't want Greenwood back, and they're highlighting the issues surrounding abuse and violence against women and girls. But it is what it is. Big up to everybody. Bumbaye, how you doing? You've got a nice weekend.
Good,
lovely, not weekend, sorry, nice week. You've had a nice week. Lovely sunshine.
Yeah, beautiful, man. Enjoying it. Life is good. Thank you very much. Nice to see you, bro. It's been a while. Jav, I hope America was nice. Big up yourself.
Nice.
Good to see you, bro. So yeah, there's a lot to unpack this evening, you told me. So where we're starting with the protests?
No, we just talked about it. Yeah, there is protests, and that was just to make people aware about it. Anybody who's coming to the game on Monday. Just
No,
just
these
having a
players.
big up Steve H's, just having a Hawaiian pizza. By the way, love and light to everybody in Hawaii. Apparently there was a massive fires. There are fires going on in Hawaii. So Hawaiian pizza after watching the match. Then
That's funky.
wow, it is what it is. Yeah, that's funky.
Can I ask you a question, Nuruddin, when it comes to the Glazers out and the protest? Because I have a feeling right now that the level of Glazers out, or the level of fighting will is at a low end because of what's going on, and I think like people are like sleeping on a cushion at the moment. They're not aware of the Glazers are still here. How is the vibe in Manchester?
To be fair, lately it's been trending on Twitter. I don't know if you saw it. Yeah, the vibe is get them out. The vibe, nobody's getting excited. Honestly, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just a fan base on Twitter. But when I meet other United fans, nobody's that excited about the season. Honestly, nobody's that excited because they're like, Casemiro gets injured, we're effed. You know what I mean? And people don't rate Mason Mount. People think, oh, Nana. Some people are excited about Unana. But it's always the way every summer, Jarvis, because the Glazers make it look like they're splashing their own cash. They don't spend any penny of their money. It's the club's money they splash. And people think, because they're so good at the PR. Like I said, if they actually spent much time as energy as they are on the PR, as they actually are on actually getting things sorted of this football club and doing the right thing by the football club, there will be no protest. There'll be no movement against them. Nobody would even know. People like me wouldn't be doing research on Bristol University bankers. None of these things. You know what I mean? But unfortunately, big up to our Claire.
Oh, Claire.
Queen of the chat. Queen of the chat. Big up our Claire. Love and light, Claire. I hope you're well. Sending you loads of love. Big, big hugs. Big up to Stephanie Griffin as well. Formerly known as Alicia. Big up. Big up to Sheikh Ariane as well. Hey, I hope you got your exam results, young man. Get you back on here. Get your exam results. But Bumbaye, that's what we're talking about. So I'll give you the rest of the things. Obviously, we're doing a preview as well. We'll come to that a bit later on. But that is the first thing we're talking about, is the protest. And then we've talked about also Maguire still here, and we've still got no cover for Maguire, and we've got no cover for Maguire, and then we've got no cover for Casemiro. So what do you think to that, Bumbaye? You there? We'll come back to Bumbaye. Big up Lesso. Lesso loves football TV. Talk to me, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm all good, man. I was watching the show. Sorry I couldn't get in a lot earlier, but yeah,
I've
been
worry,
hearing.
Brother.
Yeah.
Do not worry, brother. Do not worry. Do not.
No, big up to
worry,
Jarvis as well.
Yeah. Always love for our brother Jarvis. Love and light. So listen, what do you think to the Maguire is still here? No possible replacement, apparently. Talibo from Nice, possible. And then Pavard. I'm like, miss me out with that. If Manchester United buy Pavard, are you effing kidding me? Pavard scored one good goal.
No, we need to get Talibo. Talibo. Yeah, Talibo. I think Talibo is the perfect replacement for Maguire, man. I mean, he's a guy who's hungry at the moment, and when you look at history, he comes from Barcelona. He kind of like, he didn't get the chances that he needed to get. I think he went to Barcelona way too early. Then he went back to Lens, and then that's where he rebuilt himself again. And right now he needs that move, that next move where he can step up again. I feel like he has improved in the years that he has been at Lens. Been watching a bit of him as well. So now I know he's exactly what we need. In the long run, he's exactly what we need. He can learn from Varane. It's a perfect transition, if you actually ask me, from Varane to him, because they actually have a similar style of play, when you look at them. So having Varane and then with him as well, it creates depth, and then naturally, he plays in Varane's position as well. So, he that position is made for him. If the club is actually well run, I think that's the kind of move we make. Pavard, he had his time. We were linked with him previously in the other years, but I feel like this is a more appropriate replacement, if we're actually looking at it. And if it was City, this is the kind of move they make. They're not signing Pavard, you know what I'm saying? So they already, right now they're already grooming Alvarez. Alvarez for Haaland. He's learning a lot from Haaland. So they're already grooming him to take over that position already. So this is how you move as a big club. You always have to have someone readily available who's gonna come in for the players that may depart in a couple of years. And so, that's how we used to do it as well. Back in our days with Sir Alex Ferguson. So, no, I'm with Tolibo, man. I'm 100% behind him because he's got the height, he's got everything. Like, he's got years and mileage, less mileage than Pavard. So we need to try and go for the long-term route. With Ten Hag, especially with the project that he's trying to run. We're trying to look long-term, so we can't be making short-term signings at this current point in time. We already have Johnny Evans. We can't be signing Pavard, and then we have Johnny Evans. We're creating problems on top of problems. So we need to create a balance in terms of the aging and the age within the club. So I'm all for that move. I'm sorry. So yeah.
Yeah. 100%. For me, when I heard Pavard, I'm like, Pavard. Pavard. The guy's claim to fame is when he played for France as a right back, he couldn't get into the French squad. He couldn't get into the French team properly. I think he might have been in the squad, but he's not been in the team. Bayern Munich, when I've watched him, he's been trash. When I watched him in the Champions League, he's just been horrendous. And now apparently he's telling people he's a centre half. God forgive. No, does anyone in the panel think that there's going to be improvement? I don't think so. If you hear Ten Hag's interview with MUTV, somebody sent it to me this morning. It's yesterday, and he basically says he had to adapt to the players. So the guy asked him about your style of play. So he goes, "No, as a coach, you have to adapt to the players that I have." So yeah, we're going to be good on a transition, but in terms of being very much possession-based team, I don't think so. Yeah, Edmund, apparently, I've read an article, and he's highly rated. Is he from Leverkusen? Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say I'm actually positive when it comes to Pavard. He's not that old. We heard about him in a long time because he scored a goal in the World Cup when he was very young. And then he went from France to Bayern Munich. He's 27 years old, and he has lots of experience when it comes to the Bundesliga and playing at the top level for the national team and Champions League. Always with Bayern Munich, they go deep every year, quarterfinals, semifinals. So, and he knows Varane. He's been playing with Varane for many years. I think also I read that Fabrizio Romano said that he wants to try the Premier League and he wants to come to United, and that's been like the common denominator with all the players we have been waiting to sign this season. Is everybody wants to come to United. He has 1 year left on his contract and he won't re-sign the contract with Bayern Munich. It's not Bayern Munich who is pushing him out, it's him who wants to leave. He don't want to re-sign. So that's another thing, because everybody's skeptical when it comes to everybody's skeptical when it comes to Bayern Munich because of Schweinsteiger and the last one we had on loan. This I can't get his name at the moment, but when it comes to Bayern, they usually load off players before they drop. I don't think Pavard is on his way down at the moment. He's only 27.
He couldn't even get into the
prime.
Jarvis, he couldn't even get into the Bayern Munich team and keep a regular place.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's why he wants to leave. He wants to go and play for first team football. I don't think he's good enough for. Is he the player that's taking Manchester to the next level? No chance. To me, I rather go on a potentially young player to leave. And I've looked at his attributes. He is the kind of who's quick, really fast, very good at carrying the football, very good at dribbling, like in terms of like good on dribbles, can only get better in terms of his awareness. And I know that he's had a couple of moves. He was at Barcelona as a kid. I know that he was in, where was he? Did he go to Germany? I think he might have been in Germany. Yeah, Toledo. And I think he might have been in Germany and he went wrong. And then he went somewhere else. And then he came back to France and then he settled in with Nice. But honestly, he is, to me, when I look at Pavard and him, there's day and night. And I'm just sick of getting Bayern Munich's drift-offs. You know what I mean? I'm just sick of it.
Yeah, he played for Lille, Stuttgart, and then Bayern Munich. Yeah, Stuttgart.
Yeah, Stuttgart, yeah. Yeah, big up to everybody. Please keep smashing the likes. We're on our way to 8,000 and obviously to 10,000 as well. Bumbaye, are you there? Are you with us? Can you hear us, Bumbaye?
Loud and clear, baby.
Loud and clear. Listen, Manchester United, Maguire's still here. Pavard, are you taking Pavard? Are you taking Totali? I can't even say his name properly, this kid's name.
I've heard
Todibo. Todibo.
I don't know this player, to be honest.
Have a look at him. He looks like obviously he's at Barcelona as a young kid, so he's good on comfortable on the ball. What I like about him is his recovery pace, and we haven't got any really quick defenders. He'll be filling in for Varane if he does, but I like to have one quick centre half amongst our team. But no CDM, nothing to cover yet for Casemiro. For me, that's the big worry. I'm personally not super excited about the season. I'm not so excited. You know me, I'm glass half empty when it comes to the football club, because until the Glazers leave, the only time you'll ever see me get giddy about everything when those vultures piss off. But it is what it is. But in terms of Maguire, let him go. By the way, Manchester United are breathing that Scott McTominay is definitely staying at United, by the way.
Hey, that's good news. I like that.
But we also like to wish Fred well in his next venture. But I thought he played better than Fabinho last season. I thought Fabinho was horrendous for Liverpool last season. I thought Fred played better for Manchester United last season in some of the big games as well. And they get 25 million. We can't even get 10 million. It's absolutely laughable. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, good luck to Harry Maguire. Looks like West Ham. I think Harry Maguire is not a bad defender. He just can't play in the high line. And nobody told us, and we didn't spot that. You know, for England, he's really good because they play a back five with those wing backs. And he's comfortable with that. There's more options with two guys next to you either side. And Leicester as well was similar. So I think he'll do well at West Ham. You know, he's a big guy, clear the headers. They don't go push high line. So he's taken enough shit. Good luck to him. I think, me personally, I'm all right with what we've done in terms of business in this transfer market. And that's on the basis of the narrative that we didn't have too much money. Anything that he paid out for Anthony was going to have to come out of this year's transfer. But Ten Hag was adamant he wanted this player, and we paid 85 million for him. It's a lot of money. We got our striker. I'm really happy with the one that we've got. We got our midfielder. I really like Mason Mount. I think he's going to do really, really well for us. Keeper-wise, I was thinking De Gea is definitely staying for another year. That's a big call he's made. I don't think Onana's a better goalkeeper than David De Gea. Personally, I've looked at him. I see a little bit of a guy that likes to make more of a save than it is. But we're going to have to see if the quality with his feet can offset that and how it's going to really improve us as a team. I'm interested to see that because it's a very big call. I mean, I'm ready to go into the season. You know what I mean? We've got defense. If Maguire goes, great. You know, you've got Johnny Evans, 35 there. He can come on for 10, 15 minutes, give someone a rest. I know Varane's a bit injury prone, but we've got Luke Shaw that can fill in there. And Lindelof finished really strong last year. You know, I keep him. I don't sell him at all. I think he's the best. Him and Leach are the best players on the ball from the back. You've got Martinez. So we're not too dissimilar from Liverpool. We're not too dissimilar from, you know, other teams around us, really, in that department. I think we've got 8 or 9 midfielders, man. We have to see what we're going to do with them before we start adding midfielders. I know there's Casemiro, you know, if he's injured, if he's out, but guys have to step up. Scott McTominay, to me, you know, I'm quite a fan of him. I think he's a really good player. He's got to play his part. He's the squad player. You know, if Amrabat comes, I don't say no, but he has to understand that he doesn't start in this team. He's a squad player, and if he's happy with that, great. You know, bring him along, fine. Other than that, man, I'm hoping that Højlund is going to improve Sancho and Anthony and anybody that's flanking him, and he's going to improve Bruno behind him. But all in all, I'm pretty happy with the business that we've done, and I think I'm ready for the season. I didn't think we were going to do all that.
What? We've sold kids
three
other than
players.
Fred. We've bought a goalkeeper, a midfield that I think that it's not better than any of the midfielders that we had before, right? Unless he proves this all wrong, and I'm happy to be proved wrong. I also don't rate Onana. I rate Costa, and Costa is the goalkeeper I rate. But I'm hoping to be wrong, and I hope that Mason Mount shuts me up. I'm happy for that. I'm happy for that. But in terms of Manchester United, did not score many goals last season. We relied on our defense, and then we got smashed actually by the top 10 teams. So Manchester United are now bought a player who's now injured, who could possibly have a stress fracture on his back and could be out for at least a month. It's an absolute disgrace and a joke. It's fact that you're telling me that you're happy, and then we've got NHS Martial, treatment room Martial. So the fact that that's what I love about somebody like you, because you're definitely glass all full. You're not half full glass guy. You are glass of the fact that you say you're happy about all of this. It dumbfounds me. It absolutely dumbfounds me. Like, where are you getting this? Where are you getting this from? Manchester United needed to buy 2 strikers. The club came out in December and said we're loaning Workhorse because we're saving big money to buy a striker. And then they bought a kid, they negotiated for 2 months, and they only paid us the overall package 5 million less. Where we could have had him now, where we could have had him while he was fit, could have had him, integrated him, adapted him into the team. We waited all of that long, and now he's not even going to start the season. So we've got Rashford, who keeps telling everybody and their nan on every interview, I prefer to play from the left-hand side. But I love your optimism. Honestly, I'm the one that's just not getting it.
Well, I mean, look, I think one thing we need to be realistic about, there's no point in looking at prices anymore. Declan Rice has gone for 105, Bellingham 130. We're looking at Caicedo for 110, 111. They bought him for 4 million.
I'm not saying
let me explain to you what I'm trying to say.
I'm not saying Manchester United should go and get those players, by the way. I'm not saying that.
No, I know that. I'm not saying that either.
I'm not saying Man United should go and play the ridiculous prices. No.
What I'm saying to you is, brother,
it's up to the Manchester United scouting department and the directors of football to find the next gems, the next Casados, those next guys.
Listen to what I'm saying to you, just a second. We are like Liverpool now. Yeah, they're going to get their pants pulled down. They're desperate. Pochettino did an interview today. I'm not sure if anyone watched it. He mentioned his midfielders. They have no midfield. They're desperate. Caicedo is one of the most exciting young players. He is exceptional. He does resemble Kante, I must say. When you're desperate and you're Chelsea and you spend 600 million, or you're Liverpool and they know that you've got 5-6 players off the books, their wages off the books, you've got 50 million for 2 guys that are effectively done, and you've not really spent much. And when you're Man United and you have Weghorst and Martial, they know you're desperate. You need a striker. There's a Premier League premium because the money is here. If Højlund goes to AC Milan, Juventus, he doesn't go for this price because all the guy says is, you know what we are. We don't have this money here.
No, I don't believe.
But this is not. Listen, this is Premier League money.
You just don't have good negotiators. I'm sorry to say.
No, really bro, look, I don't think it's about negotiation football anymore.
Okay, let me correct you. Let me correct
because everybody is getting ripped.
the reason why Liverpool on that point, and it could continue in a minute. The reason why Liverpool are getting their pants pulled down and they're on fucking Woodward settings right now, panicking FC, is because they got rid of the whole football structure. They got rid of Edwards. They got the guy who replaced Edwards. They got rid of the analytics guy. They got rid of 2 other guys who were basically the recruitment specialists. They got rid of that and they gave everything to Klopp. And the guy that is with Klopp right now is the guy that's been bought in. Is Klopp's mate apparently from Wolfsburg in Germany, and both of them have Scooby absolutely did I'll do. So that's the reason why Liverpool again, because they have no football structure, which Manchester United didn't have. So that is the thing you have to put into it. It's the first time ever Liverpool, for me, last season was the season where they didn't strengthen that midfield. They should have bought midfield players, so that was a big thing. And then this season, they've let all of this go. But still, even with them having a guy who's coming into the job from Germany, they managed to get 50 million for Grandad Henderson and washed up Fabinho. While Manchester United, I'm sorry to say, 8 million for a guy who's had a better season than both of them.
I think what I'd say about that is, and I don't want to take up too much time, let somebody else come in, but what I'd say about a player in today's market is worth what you're willing to pay for him. How much do you need? This is our price, take it or leave it. So I think with Liverpool, since Klopp came in, FSG bought it for 300 million. They're worth between 4 and 5 billion now, FSG apparently. They didn't spend last year's money for that midfielder. They were looking at Camavinga. There was talk
because they were getting rid of their football structure. They got rid of their football structure.
What I'm saying to you, bro, look, what I'm saying to you is Edwards is gone because there was a disagreement about the players that they wanted to get. Klopp wants this. Edwards is the guy that apparently signed Salah when Klopp was thinking, no, I don't quite want him.
Yeah, it's true.
So Edwards is good.
No, it
and
wasn't
a couple
just
of guys.
Edwards. By the way, it wasn't just Edwards.
There was another guy. There was 2 of them.
No, they had a transfer committee.
So what I'm saying is, bro,
and that served them well. And that served them well. Bro, that's why now Liverpool are in danger of Woodward setting. Panicky FC. That's what I'm telling you.
Look, brother, football now with the advent of Saudi Arabia, football in the Premier League, look around you. You don't really get much anymore for 50 million. You just don't. Defenders are going.
Listen, every other club is getting ripped off.
So I don't think Manchester United.
I'm sorry. Every other selling club gets proper money for their players, but Manchester United don't. So I don't know which one you're telling me. 1 minute you're telling me it's tax. So why can't Man United get 45 million for Harry Maguire then? He's in the England international.
He's not. Look, Harry Maguire. Really bro, look, Harry Maguire. Fabinho is not a guy that Liverpool were desperate to offload. Klopp said today in his pre-match interview for Sunday's game, he goes, "We had no idea this was happening. We thought Henderson and Fab are staying, but the offers that came in are ridiculous. And the fact that Henderson is an ambassador for the LGBT whatever, and he goes to Saudi, tells you about how good these offers are. Do you understand what I mean? So this has put them in a bit of a predicament. They don't need one, they probably need 2. Thiago's always injured. Today's market, you can't just go and pick people's players. You have to pay a major premium.
But look at when it comes to Manchester United then?
Manchester United, bro, in terms of Harry Maguire, we're desperate to offload him. He's on £180,000 a week. You have to try and find somebody that will pay him.
By your logic,
if Saudi come in, if Saudi come in, it solves problems because Saudi are coming in and taking Henderson and Fabinho both for 50 million. That's amazing.
I'm sorry, but
they're willing to go.
I'm gonna have to go to Jarvis. But by your logic, basically, let me get this right. All of the teams want proper money for their players, but except for Manchester United. I'm sorry. That's what it shows you. We have
what I'd say, sorry, go ahead, before Jav just comes in, I think one of our problems since Mourinho, we struggle to get rid of players because we put them on really good salaries per week. And if they don't perform and their value drops, you have to try and find somebody that's going to pay them the big money. I think that's our problem. With Mourinho, he struggled to sell Rojo. He struggled to sell, he wanted Pogba gone. We struggled to sell a lot of players. But that's the thing that Man United, I think, have to change. You know, Firmino and Salah and Mane in their absolute pomp were on 180 each. Van Dijk is on 180. You've got Maguire on better money than Van Dijk. It's not easy to shift these guys. It's the club's fault, but they have to start to address that a little bit better.
Yeah, I think you have a point, Bumba. Yeah, but first of all, I want to say that I get your frustration, Nuruddin, because when it comes to United and sales, it's been terrible the last 10 seasons, to be fair. But Bumba has a point. You know, the salaries make it hard to sell the players. Everybody knows that. Okay, Maguire is on 200k a week. Another centre back that West Ham want to buy is on 100k a week. That's 100k extra a week. 52 weeks a year, that's 5 million. Over 4 years, that's 20 million. So that's 20 million extra on the wages or on the price for the player compared to another centre back, for example. So we have to take that into account. And another thing, I think we all have to agree, if you have 1 year left on your contract, the player has power when it comes to the transfer, because they can always say, I will stay the last year and go for free. You sell me to that club I want to go to, or I go to for free next year. Yeah. So for us to sell Fred, if he wanted to go to Fenerbahce and not to Saudi, okay, 8 million or nothing. That was maybe our choice. We don't know. But when you have 1 year left on the contract, you have the power as a player. There's no denial. So that's just my 2 pence.
I just find it funny that some of the fan base make excuses for the football club. At the end of the day, you would get the market value for these players, and then whatever the price is, you'll use the 10 million or 5 million to cover their wages. There's always a way of doing it. Look here, big up Alfie. 88 million. Ganacho Ramos 1 year on loan with 60 million pound obligation to buy to PSG. Like, no, it's football structure.
Yeah.
It's a football. Some of you make so much excuses for the Manchester United, how much of a shit show we are, clownish that we are. It's unbelievable. Like, Fabinho was horrendous. The reason why, Mumbai as well, Fabinho kept trending on Twitter. Liverpool fans were sick of him. They wanted him out. So this idea that Klopp's coming out going, we're shocked. No, mate, it's not a shock. It's not a shock. They're over the hill. They got found out last season. They were gonna go. Yeah, big up, Freddie.
But if you look at Liverpool's midfield, look at how many they let go. Yeah, so they let Oxlade go. They let Naby Keita go.
Oxlade hardly ever played, man. He hardly ever played. Man.
No, I know. But he didn't. What I'm trying to say,
he's sick, no.
Bro, okay, look, do me a favor, yeah. I know definitely Fabinho was not on the chopping block and Henderson wasn't either. And Liverpool now, let's say they're gone, Fabinho and Henderson, and they're dreadful.
To Liverpool
just
fans.
Listen, let me explain something here. Please.
No. Listen, I want to get that. I want to get a distinction. To Liverpool fans, or you mean the way Klopp does things? Liverpool fans were done with Fabinho and Henderson.
Okay, let me explain this here. Let me just ask you this. What's Liverpool's midfield now? What remains?
Well, they've signed McAllister. They've signed Sabalas. They've got that Jones kid. They've got that Croatian kid. What's his name? The 18 or 19-year-old.
The young kid.
That's who
they got. Harvey Elliott.
Yeah. They got, but they need two.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think of that midfield?
No, they definitely need two more midfielders, three possibly, to replace them.
Bro, that's it. I rest my case, man.
No, but what I'm trying to make to you is that I don't know who these guys, Liverpool fans you speak to, who rate Henderson and who rated Fabinho. They wanted Fabinho out from last season. They were like, get the hell out. And Liverpool fans say, no, let me say this. Liverpool fans say, we sold the wrong guy. That was the Dutch midfielder. And we kept the donkey Fabinho. That's what they've been saying for the past 2 years. But big up Mufc TV said Fred should have been sold for at least 40 million. Same with Maguire. They ain't great for us, but they still have potential to be good elsewhere. But that's what I'm saying to you, Mufc. It's like a different rule for different people. So Mount is 60 million the package, and he's got 1 year left on his contract. It's ridiculous. But Manchester United has a different rule. All of a sudden, Manchester United, and you know what? the thing to cover the wages, you ask, if they ask now for Maguire 10 million, sorry, 40 million, 10 million you pay his wages, see you later. That's it. So there you go. That'll go towards it. Also, we're going to come to our next topic. Actually, we might even not be able to do the preview, actually, because of time. I've only got an hour tonight. I can't do any longer than an hour. So let's get into the big things, big talking points, actually. The decision of Mason is on the women's team. I mean, can you please, like, and you know what's going to happen to the women's team. So if the women's team make a vote and say no, right? They say no, they don't feel comfortable being around training ground, being around somebody who's physically and sexually abused somebody, like from the footage and the photos on Twitter, the things that we can't unsee. So you know that they're going to get abused. You know that they're going to get abused. So how does the effing club make it make sense? I mean, what kind of a clowns are running this football club?
I mean, this situation is a joke, man. I mean, it should have been like solved a long time ago, to be honest.
February.
I mean,
the case was dropped. Just to let you know, just give you context. The court case and all that got dropped from February. So February, so say that beginning March, April, May, June, July.
I mean, come on.
August.
Come on.
What is that? Nearly 8 months?
No, come on. But you know, this is our club in a
investigation. They've been doing it internal. If you want to believe them, internal investigation for almost 7 months. Let's be kind to them. Call it 7 months. And now, when last week they came out. They came out last week and said, "Oh, we're gonna be. It's the decision of Mason Green's future. It's gonna be made before the beginning of the season." And then tonight they're pulling things like this out of their backsides.
But you know, this is the Labour administration at its best, man. I mean, you know, that's just how they've been doing things, you know, conducting business and how they like literally run the club, you know. So, you know, we knew the situation had to be settled as early as possible. But you know what we always get with this ownership and the board and the structure, you know, there's nothing there. So basically, I don't know. Honestly, at this point, I don't know what we're expecting, because this was just daylight. You know, you already knew that this situation was not going to be handled, right? Because the club was already putting out, I'd say vague statements. You know, trying to confuse the fans. You know, Neil Ashton is working overtime, so you know, that's what they signed him for. So he has to, you know, try and pull the wool over everyone's eyes about the situation, and the club clearly does not want to let him go. It's that clear. You know, he's an asset, and you know that's what they're gonna always treat him as. You know, that's why there was a story where they came out, and then there's like Adidas has agreed to it, that he's allowed to come back, the sponsors, in a way to paint a positive.
Yeah, big up to Adidas.
Yeah,
because they came and made a statement and said, "Nah, we didn't do anything." Adidas came out and said, "Do not throw us under the bus. We didn't sanction anything."
Exactly, because that's what they've always been standing. They've been standing against abuse and everything. You know, equality and everything. So, like, I never really understood that. And then, you know, when they came out and clarified everything, you know, I was like, you know what? Yeah, at least that's a good shot. You know, in the Glazers way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the Mason Greenwood situation. I mean, you know how it's gonna go. You know, they're gonna send him out on loan. That's what it clearly looks like. They're gonna do a whole PR thing or behind it, and then where he's gonna come with these misses, and then they're gonna, you know, present their story and then try and gain sympathy, and then, you know, obviously from people. You know, that's just how media is. You know, it's very easy to actually get people back on side with these sort of things. So, I mean, morals are out of the window at this point, and we've seen it a lot with not just Mason, you know, with a lot of players throughout time. And you know, if you just have enough clout, within a football club, and if a football club deems you very valuable, you escape anything. So it's just unfortunate, but that's just sports in a nutshell, and it's everywhere. I'm also speaking from a South African perspective, because even here in South Africa it's the same thing. Everywhere in the world it's the same thing. So um I personally think they will send him out on loan. They will release him and send him out, because obviously he's not ready. You can see that he's not gonna be ready for the season. He's not gonna be, and then I think they'll try and sell him next season. It's more or less they don't want to release him now, like just like that. They wanna get some value on him and then be able to sell him. So I think that's what they're trying to do. With the whole PR thing, investing in the whole PR running of things, you don't do that unless you really trying to make some money out of a player. Whether it's to limit risks of selling him or keeping him. So clearly it's one of the two. So we'll see. I think he's gonna go out on loan. I think he will be out on loan, maybe on a season loan to another club somewhere, and then they might sell him when the season starts next season. But yeah, it's just confusing, But we know this is Man United at this point. I'm not surprised, man. I'm not surprised. We know how this club is run. We've got clowns everywhere. So when you don't have a structure, you don't have standards at all. Code of conducts, whatever, you name it. We don't have values at this club. Man United sold its soul a long time ago. People don't realize this. When the minute the Glazers came in, that's when Man United was gone. That's why a lot of fans went to form the United FCs elsewhere, because now they knew that this is what we're gonna be dealing with now. You sold yourself, your soul to the devil at this point. The morals and everything and values are out of this club. Like I don't know why people are actually at this point sitting and and expecting values. So I'm just hoping that they sell these guys, because I did tell you last time that I think they will sell. They don't have the money to keep running this club. So I just want them gone at this point, so that we can get some part of the club back, in some essence. They will sell. They will sell. They don't have the money. They really don't have them. That's why they've been trying to speak to the PSG chairman. They're trying to involve him in the deal, because they know what they want is money. They don't really care about staying. The whole staying thing was to actually somewhat create a bargain for them. Create a stronger bargaining tool for them, so that they can ask for more money. Whereas if they say that we're gonna sell no matter what, we just want you, no matter what, the reason why they're playing these two guys is just to get as much as money and milk as much from the potential investors as possible. These guys are gonna sell. I've always said this, they will sell. And it's just a matter of when they're gonna do it. Because at this point in time, let's be honest, a lot has to be done. They don't have the money to fit that. And there's debt piling up at the same time. We talk about the transfer window right now. That's more debt. Transfer fees. I think we're running at just on transfer fees alone. I think our debt as well, combined with the initial debt that they took onto the club. It's a billion. Exactly.
Yeah.
So how are they gonna foot that? How are they gonna fix the stadium? How are they gonna compete as well? So I don't see. I don't see that happening.
They can't get people to fund them. Trust me. You don't understand some of these like vulture capitalists and what they do. But I'll go to Jarvis, Greenwood, putting it on the women's. Let me just answer this, Mufc TV. Mufc TV, just to let you know, bro, that abuse is darker and more complex than you will ever think. It's not a black and white issue. Abuse, there are women as we speak right now, and there are men in abusive relationships as well. Men with men and women with women, whatever. What the human condition is in terms of St. John the 11 people or whoever they are. But human relationships, romantic relationships, there are people who are in abusive relationships who have been in peace for 30 years, whatever years, and never leave. it is dark. It's so dark. It's unbelievably dark. So this idea of it being simple and black and white because you've never experienced it, don't ever believe any of that BS. She could still be with him and still be suffering that abuse. Jarvis,
Yeah.
To me, nothing ever shows me, because it's like they're the gift that keeps giving. Because when I tell people, these guys, these are clowns, they have no clue, they're out of touch, that now they're using the women's team as an excuse for a decision they had the time to make for 7 months. And that's me being generous.
Mm.
And apparently, by the way, some of the on the women are getting abused, by the way, by the women's Twitter or whatever social media. There are women's teams getting abused already. Apparently, I'm not seeing the evidence, but apparently.
Yeah, you know, it's a tough one, this Greenwood situation. It feels like either if we do one thing or the other, it will be a shit show. To be honest, excuse my French, but it will be a hard one, you know, because I feel that the part of the fan base wants Greenwood back. They accept that he's not found guilty. I'm not saying innocent, but he's not found guilty. He didn't go to court because of evidential stuff and I don't know what. But when it comes to the audio tape, we all listened to it. It was terrible. It was hard, and we all know that domestic abuse is real. People are struggling. So, but as you were saying, yeah, people live with their abuser for 30 years, but we don't know that in this situation when it comes to Greenwood. We don't know the facts, and that's one of my biggest problems with this. It's hard for me to take a stance on one side on the or the other, because we don't actually know all the facts at the moment. That's why.
But what we know is what we saw, and we can't unsee what we saw. The photos and the voice message and the recording. We can't unsee that. That is what we know.
Yeah, but we don't know everything. We don't know what happened
of course,
1 hour before and 1 hour after, and everything in between, and the relationship from start to now. Now they have just had a baby. They are married. You know, she have accepted or forgiven him. So I'm not saying that we should do that. I'm not saying that Greenwood is a good guy. He's not. But what I'm saying, I don't know all the information. We don't know all the facts. So it's very hard to be very bombastic and say, I don't want him because he's a abuser, or I want him back because he's innocent, because I really don't know. So for me, it's very hard. Sorry for sitting on the fence. I can't.
No. Listen, it's not about, you have your own opinion. Everybody has their own opinion. But for me, in this country, especially in the UK, 3 women are murdered a week by their ex-partner or their current partner. Around the world, it's more. It's like 10 women a week, 20 women. There's places in the world where there's 20, 30 women a week that
and the thing is, it's not only women, it's men and it's kids.
Yeah.
It's like,
no, but what? But mainly everywhere. But mainly, violence against women and girls is global. We have to say that. There are there are men in certain relationships that have sexual relationships who get abused, but the actual killings and murders of women outweighs globally. There's not even an argument. So for me, the idea, what are Manchester United sending a message? What kind of message are they sending to the female fans or the fans? Or not even that, but men. What are they sending to young men? What kind of message are they sending? And listen, do I believe that Greenwood should go and earn a living to feed his family? Who's got a young kid, 100%. But I just don't want him doing that at Manchester United. I'm done. That's my humble opinion.
But don't you think it's a legal issue? Because Man United is his employer. So can they actually cut him off if he's not found guilty?
Yeah. For bringing
that's what they are investigating. How to handle the case without getting sued and lawsuits.
He'll have no grounds to stand on. He won't be able to sue them. Trust me, he wouldn't. They can get him done for bringing the club into disrepute, because that's his voice message on the video. And what we saw, it's not tomato ketchup. It
No,
wasn't
no,
some
no.
tomato ketchup fake blood. I'm sorry. But Bumbaye, the club have came out and said they're going to make an announcement before the season starts, and now they're regretting it. They're saying that apparently, if this is right, they're regretting it. I just want to correct something by Alfie. Alfie, they got 50 million for Fabinho and Henderson, not 100 million. They got 50 million. But big up to you, brother. Just a point of correction there. So that's what's happening, and now they're putting it solely. Apparently, if you listen to the rumors on social media, they're putting it on the women decision on the women's team, and majority of the women are away. Some of them are away on international duty, or they're coming back just from international duty, where the World Cup.
Well, I think it's important for the women to, have a say.
So
But
but how come they didn't do that for the past? They've had 7 months to sort this out. How come that's not being done? And why are they doing it? Why are they using the women and throwing the women's? Actually, it's not. It's what Manchester United are briefing. It's not. By the way, it's not a speculation. But they've had 7 months, and in that 7 months, the women's team have been competing, like since till the end of May. So, and everybody knew the women's team. Majority of them are going to internationals. They're all going to the World Cup. So why are they using that as an excuse and throwing the women's team under the bus?
Look,
they've had 7 months.
give you.
They've not had 2 months. 7 months.
Look, let's say they've had 7 years. Yeah, 7. Let's go with 7 years. Like Jarvis makes a very good point. Whether the Glazers do, whether they don't, that's it. People don't like them. Whether Mourinho does, whether Mourinho doesn't, Mourinho from day one had his detractors who wanted him to fail. That's just the way life is sometimes, unfortunately.
No, nobody wanted him to fail. I'm sorry about that.
They
Nobody
did.
wanted
They
him
did.
to fail.
No, they did. They did.
Nobody
they did.
wanted to fail. People, listen,
Bro,
people did not
look,
like the
let's
style
not
of play.
argue. Let's
People
not
did not
argue.
like the style of play. People
Look,
he's got the right manager for Manchester United because his football is shit. And we didn't
Bro,
want
look,
shit football.
this is,
We have to correct the record. I'm sorry.
Look,
We have to correct the record.
you're making me get a dry mouth. Let me just explain to you something. Okay, just listen for a second. Mason Greenwood made a mistake, a big mistake. Yeah. I don't know the context of what happened. I don't know what truly is going through his mind. I don't know if he's sorry. But the only person that matters for forgiving him is that woman that was on the end of it and her family. Mason, I'm a guy personally, yeah. It's very easy in the world of today and the social media world. You put a tweet out 10 years ago, it comes back and bites you in the ass. But people make major mistakes in life, and sometimes they have to be given the capacity and to grow, to change, to reform. This is to me a 20-year-old kid with way more money than he knows what to do with, that comes from a little town called Wisby. He thought he was God's gift. Then God himself has come and showed him, listen, keep your feet on the ground, son. This is how close you came to your life being over. Sometimes we all need a wake-up call, man. Whether we're selling drugs, whether we do bad things to other people, God will give you that wake-up call. And we've all had a wake-up call in our life. The difference is he's a high-profile guy. He got caught. Now you've got the women's voice. Maybe it don't want to forgive. It's don't want to forget. Don't want to do none of that. Okay, fair enough. I'm not speaking for everybody. That's how I saw this situation. And when we spoke about this, I said to you, I think Mason Greenwood will play for Man United again one day. I said that from the beginning. The guy's made a bad knob error. Yeah? But bro, she's forgiven him. They're having a child. Maybe he needed help. Maybe the support network around him is not like Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford's got a great family. All his brothers are around him. His mother's around him. This guy, I don't know what's around him, but sometimes you need to really make bad mistakes to get things right. So for me, now listen, hang on.
There are mistakes and then there is abuse. I'm sorry to say, let me just repeat for people. I can't unsee or unhear what I saw and unseen. I can't unhear what I heard
it too. I heard it too.
So I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry about all this being. And you know that people have stayed in abusive relationships for a very long time.
Mason
even
Greenwood
regardless.
is
So
not
it is
the
what it is.
poster
This
child
ain't a little
for,
mistake. This
bro.
isn't.
It's a
This
big
ain't a little
mistake.
mistake.
It's a big
This
mistake.
ain't a
It's a
little
big mistake. But
Let's not
but
put
it's
that.
a big look. It's a big
And
mistake.
Manchester
But
United,
Mason Greenwood is.
if they force this on the fans, are basically saying it's okay to abuse women
No, they're
and
not.
young
No, they're
girls.
not
Yes,
saying. I
yes, they
don't
are.
think this.
That's what
I
they're
don't
saying.
think
That's my
that.
opinion.
I don't.
That's my opinion. They're saying it's all right. It's all right, lads.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
but look, but Jarvis has just explained to you, and he's right. So many of the fans are thinking, you know what? The way this has ended now, the dust has settled. We're all right with him coming back.
It's not
All
of the
his
fans, by the way.
teammates,
It's split.
not
I'm
all of
sorry,
them.
the
Not,
fan
I'm
base
not.
split.
Look, I'm not.
The
I'm
fan
a
base
split. That's what. Yeah. So when you say that's my opinion, you have to make room for other opinions. People. Yeah, I'm giving you my opinion. So you've got Mendy's case. Let me bring him into this quickly.
No.
This guy.
Story.
No, bro.
I'm not bringing
Bro,
that. I don't want to
let me
know
just
about
make.
Mendy. We're
Bro,
talking
let
about
me just
Mason.
make a quick. I know we are.
I'm sorry, we're
It's
talking
the
about
same.
Mason Greenwood. No, it's not the same.
I know.
It's not
I
the
know
same.
we
I'm
are.
sorry.
I just want to explain. I just want to explain something to you.
I don't want to know about
This
Mendy's
guy,
case.
let me explain something to you. There's a problem here, I think, in society that is permeating with the Greenwood thing as well. Mendy went through 2 years, nearly 3, of cases. He's gone bankrupt. His career is effectively done, and he's been found innocent.
And guess what?
Okay.
Who's he gonna blame Mendy? Nobody but himself.
Let me explain what I'm
Nobody
getting
but himself.
Bro,
I'm
I know.
sorry,
Okay,
I'm sorry, Bombay.
let me just get to the end of the point, please.
Mendy needs to look in the mirror and see
You
he
don't,
has
bro.
nobody else in this world to blame but
Nuruddin,
himself.
let him land.
I'm sorry, you're not making excuses here for people who are rapists.
I'm just trying
to people who are doing sexual against
I'm
women.
not making
You're
excuses.
not making excuses. I'm not having it
I'm
on
just
the
trying to
channel.
make a point here.
I'm not.
All right, forget it.
No, go on, make your point. But I'm just letting you know he's not a victim.
Forget it.
Do not paint Mendy as a victim.
Forget it. I'm not, bro. Forget
Mendy's
it.
the only man to blame. He's the only person to blame.
Okay,
he can't blame anybody else. Whatever situation he found himself in. I want that to get across to the people who are watching and listening. But go ahead and make your point.
Bro, forget it. Let's just move on, man.
No, go ahead and make your point.
No, I can't be bothered.
I just want the viewers to understand that.
There's
Mendy
no point.
has zero to blame anybody. He's not a victim here. He has everything to blame but himself. So I don't give absolute fear. I don't give a damn that he's gone bankrupt.
Okay.
I do not give a damn that he's gone bankrupt or whatever. But go and make your point. I just want to make that quick point, to interject and make that point. Go ahead and finish your point.
Bro, honestly, my mouth is dry. My head is hurting now. I can't even make a point on the podcast. So just let's move on, bro. Honestly.
No, you can make a point. You've made the points before.
Just move on. Forget it, man. Okay. Just forget it. I can't bother that.
By the way, I'm not here to silence anybody. I'm just saying you can't. The reason why I'm telling you, do not bring Mendy's situation into this, because Mendy's got nobody to blame but himself. And I'll be very shocked if Mendy is now trying to sue City. That what would happen is that City would just give him a couple of million here and there, but he's the only one to blame is Mendy. Nobody else. And that's why I do not want to talk about Mendy.
Do you know how Jarvis explained? This is the point I'm trying to make to you, and why I'm giving you Mendy as an example. I'm not absolving anybody here. They've paid the price for whatever it is they did anyway. But what I'm trying to explain to you is we have
to pay the biggest price, by the way. But go ahead.
You've got the law. You've got an investigation for nearly 3 years, and this guy comes out and he's innocent, but according to the law. Whether he's innocent or whether he's not, it only seems to matter.
You know
whether
how
he's
hard
still
it is to prove rape cases, to try rape cases.
What I'm trying to say,
you know the statistics. Do you know the statistics? Do you know how hard it is to try that?
I know the statistics, but what I'm trying to say to you is, isn't there a possibility that this guy is actually innocent? But the issue with Greenwood, the issue with Mendy is, irrespective of investigations, irrespective of 3 years of work and the law and due process, it's irrelevant whether he gets an innocent verdict, because in the minds of the people, he's still guilty. And I think this is a serious problem. It is a very dangerous precedent, because it simply says, by the same token as women and stuff, that every man is guilty anyway, irrespective of whether he's forgiven by the person that matters, irrespective of the judgment that the law passes down. What we're saying here is, no, it doesn't matter. You're guilty, end of story. Why even bother with the law? This is the trend that's being set now, because to many, Mendy's still guilty. It doesn't matter. After 3 years of investigation, he's still guilty. We don't care. I think this is a major, major issue, because even if there's one man out of every 50 that is innocent, it won't really matter the way things are going. And this is the point I'm trying to make to you. I'm looking at this Mason Greenwood from a real point of view. There are women out there that do suffer domestic abuse by bad guys. And maybe sometimes those guys change their ways, man. They need help. They've got anger issues. They've been brought up badly. There is two sides to every coin. So this kid, to me, has been through the mill. He knows how close he came to his life being over. The people that matter in this is not me, whether I forgive him or whether Jane or Alice or whoever forgives him. Does that woman forgive him? Does her family forgive him? If so, it seems like they do. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the club, man, and he's come out as innocent. Yeah, he was found not guilty. Now, I know people still thinking, no, it doesn't matter. He's still guilty to us. That's all that counts. But that's not all that counts, really. For me, Mason Greenwood should be reinstated and he should be allowed to play. And I don't think that that's unrealistic. And I know people are going to come out and say, yeah, you think... No man in his right mind believes that even touching a woman, if you've ever had a missus and you hit a woman, or you know somebody that's done that things were irreparably changed forever. Do you understand what I mean? Only she can forgive that person. There are two sides to every story. And like Jarvis says, I'm not a guy. Yeah, I've seen videos. They were nasty. They weren't nice. Only a man and his missus know the context and what is going on in that bedroom, and why this is going on and why it's happened and what can be done to solve it. Not me. We just heard the soundbite was ugly. End of story, dead. You're buried. No forgiveness, no chance to grow. We're not even bothering sending you to counseling or mental health or anger issues to try and reform you. That's what we've done, though, isn't it?
I'm sorry. I've let you land.
So me, I don't play that game. I don't play that game.
Now. I've let you land.
Yeah,
now.
Fine. That's it. I've landed.
Yeah, you've landed. I'm sorry to say, Mendy, the only person who's got to blame himself. I refuse to believe that.
Is he innocent?
Women. No,
is he innocent? Is he innocent?
I've let you land. You're going to let me land.
One question: is he innocent?
According to the law. Listen, according to the law. According to the law. And you know what?
Exactly.
And
for me, that's all that counts.
No, that's not all that counts. No, that's not all that counts for me. Because we've seen guilty people get off before in whatever law, man-made law, and we've seen innocent people being actually executed. Innocent people being sent to prison. So I'm 100%. Sorry, the law can go and F itself. I refuse to believe. Let me. No, you've had your say. So this is where I've got to come back and push back against this. A lot of the things what I heard, which is absolutely just, I'm dumbfounded by it. That I refuse to believe that 7 to 8 or 9 women have all of a sudden conspired to basically, that's why I don't want to get into the Mendy thing. That idea that 9 different women have conspired to get this guy, ruin this guy's life by accusing him of rape. I refuse to believe that. I'm sorry. But by numbers, I refuse to believe that. And by the way, the statistics on women being prosecuted in the UK, it's so difficult to prove or to convict any rapists in this country. It's extremely difficult. A footballer that's got now the reason why he's broke now, because he used all of those millions to defend himself, while his victims have nowhere near the same amount of wealth that he has. That's why now he's saying he needs to sue Man City, which was just laughable to me. But that's one side. One thing for me is that Mason on the tape voice, that's Mason. 100 million% is Mason. 100 million% Mason. Those photos, that level of abuse, I'm sorry. Some of you might only think about your football, but I have a conscious. I've got 8 sisters, and not just because I've got sisters, but it's the fact that I see women as human beings. I don't see women as some sort of people that needs to be controlled and that men can just do whatever they want with women. I don't see women. I see women as human beings. So for me, I'm not saying Mason Greenwood can't have a football career. I'm not saying Mendy can't have a football career. Just, to me, Mason Greenwood, not at my football club. And you're talking about somebody who was telling everybody and their nan about this kid, was so excited about this player. But you know what? I put the footballer to one side and the disgusting, disturbing abuse that he put through that young girl. I am not refusing to forget that so that he can bang goals for Manchester United. That is on your conscience, people. If you want to do that, that's on you. And this ain't no Virgil signaling BS. This ain't nothing. At the end of the day, it's simple. Do you ask yourself the question, do you value women? Do you value women and young girls in our society as human beings? Yes or no? That's all it is. This is that's the crux of this. Do you value the humanity of women and girls? That's it. That's it for me. That is it for me. And for me, Greenwood is not a victim. Mendy is not a victim. They're not victims. They have victims. Go ahead, Jarvis.
I just want to say some people in the chat are saying that we are protecting predators and stuff like that. I don't accept that. That's off. That's over the line. So people who are in the chat, you better stop that, because I don't accept it. We are not protecting predators. We are talking about an important issue as a Man United supporter, and that pisses me off.
Yeah, by the way, people,
MUFC, these men protecting predators.
Please do not throw. Please, big up Jarvis. Do not throw any statements. You get kicked out, I'll just kick you out. That's it. Kick you out. Give to you of the channel.
Yeah.
We're having a robust debate, and there are sides. There are many different sides. One thing Bombay and Jarvis are about. We don't know what happened before. For me, that's enough for me. What I heard on that tape, what I heard, and the photos that I saw, that's enough for me to go. I do not want Mason Greenwood ever playing for Manchester United again. That's my humble opinion. Other people have a different opinion, but you're not accusing them of being a rapist apologist. No way. We're not accusing them of that. And if I clicked on it, I just go by everything, because that's what I choose to channel to be, where I click on every single comment, because this is a community, and I don't want just to think that, our only voice matters, that because we get to speak matters. Is not, because I want to hear from everybody thinks. I know the fan base is divided. I don't think everybody who is want Mason Greenwood to come back, they're just thinking about the football. I don't think they're I don't think they're all making excuses for a rapist and predator. I don't think they are. I don't think they just want striker back because the way the club is set up. Yet again, it all comes back to the football club and the ownership, then the indecision. And now, to even further than that, I just want to go around quickly, I don't want to get too long on this, and I'll go around the panel. What do you think the women's team? What do you think the women's team are thinking? Because they've had 7 months to consult them.
I mean, the mere fact that they didn't consult them for so long, I think this decision should have already been consulted with them a long time ago. Like, what do you guys think? Because now it makes them feel like, if stories are coming out and then they're like, no, they're speaking to these people first, then they speak to those people first, and then they come to you guys last. It makes you feel like you don't matter, in this whole decision, because it's a very sensitive issue, when as well, when you look at it. I'm not saying, by no means am I saying, Mason is guilty or is whatnot, because I also don't have 100%. I do not have the facts. I can't stand here and speak about something I don't. But in these kind of situations, usually, if you want to, create a better outcome for everyone, for both parties, and everyone all in those circumstances, the best. That's why I say the best thing was for the club to actually consult with the women's team, because this is a GB type of situation. It's a domestic violence sort of situation. So they had to go to them first before they even think about sponsors or anything, because I mean the Glazers they care about money, so they were always gonna go for the sponsors first and hear what they say until the women come into play. They really don't care about human beings. That's how capitalists are. They don't care. It's not about human beings in this point. So that's what they should have done, and unfortunately it was not done in that way. What do we expect, Noridin? What do we expect? So yeah,
but how do you think that put yourself in the women's shoes, the women's team? What do you think that they're doing?
No, I think they're pissed off. Wouldn't you be pissed off though if in this sort of situation you're not giving any clarification and up until the last minute? What would you think? I would be pissed off, because I'd look at them and say, you know what, they don't care about us. They don't even value us to the point where they even come and approach us. They look at us as worthless. So it creates anger. Instead of if they really wanted to soften the blow of the whole situation, they should have spoke to them first, and then and then speak take it out from there. But they didn't. That's not proper management at the end of the day. It's like saying with employers, for example, you're running a business, and then your employers are unhappy, and then you taking and then because they're unhappy, then you're like, okay, I'm gonna consult with the sponsors or with the stockholders first before we even talk to you guys, instead of addressing the situation with the employers and hearing what the problem is, and then go back to the stakeholders and say, this is the problem, how do we solve it? And then that's when you guys come up with the decision, and you come back and you bring it back to the employees. And then you obviously, and then that's why you address it, and you come up with the final solution. That's how things work. But the Glazers don't seem to even apply the business principles right in the football aspect. So
it's to me, it's just it's absolutely. I did not think that this was going to come to a head, and now they're saying they're regretting making the decision. But quickly, Bombay, how do you think it's going to affect the women, because they've been thrown under the table now? The focus is on them. So the club are making it like it's up to the women. And if the women say no, then the level of abuse that they're going to get on social media specifically. And
let me ask you this.
No. I just want you to answer that specific question. What do you think, for the fans that want Greenwood back, what we know, some of them, not all of them, but some of them are going to go for these women. And some of these women have their own little profiles. They don't get paid as much as the men. So it's not like they got millions and millions to try to protect them from the abuse and everything that's going on. People can get at them physically because they play in another town, not in Manchester. So they don't even have the type of security that the men's team have. What do you think? How do you think they're feeling?
I mean, to be honest, man, I want to give you an insight into what I believe and what I think. But the way that you've constructed this whole thing, it's difficult. And like I said, I just made a point, on the basis that I don't know the full story, on the basis of how it's ended. And you see the people going nuts in it. This is a microcosm of what social media has become now. There is a stereotype that every person that's a footballer is by default a God's gift Don Juan that doesn't care about women and can do whatever they want with them. And that's the idea of every case. And I think this is a dangerous precedent.
Let me just get the super chat. 1 second. Thanks for the super chat. Says was EastEnders FC, now Jerry Springer FC. Big up. Go ahead, Bombay.
And what I'd say, bro, is look, what if the women were not consulted? Wouldn't that be a travesty? That would be a whole different debate, because she's a woman that suffered abuse. What about the women's team? They have to be consulted. That would be a lack of empowerment. That would be a disrespect. That would be a million things.
So
if they weren't consulted.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, here's the crux. Let me come in. Manchester United last week came out and said, brief the press and said there's going to be a decision on Mason Greenwood before the beginning of the season. Then all of a sudden, in a 7-month internal investigation, which they've been doing, they've come out and said, it's up to the women. That is, to me, can you not understand that?
No, I don't think it's up to the women.
Why did they say last week, right, or the week before, 10 days ago, 7 days ago, whenever it was, 7 or 8 days ago, why did they say that we will have a decision made? Why did they then now make the women's team a target of online abusers who want Greenwood back?
But I don't think that they have made anything. I think, look, if 3 black guys miss a penalty, they're getting abused. If women take a decision that the guys that want Mason Greenwood back, and maybe even the girls that want to forgive him to come back, they're going to get abused. Unfortunately, when you're in the world of social media, this world in today, and there's an issue that is polarizing a fan base, people again, I just got abused. I just got abused myself. I've got nothing invested in this. Do you understand what I'm saying? These, unfortunately, are professional athletes that represent a massive brand, the women's team. And this is part of life. You're going to be faced with big decisions like this. It's ugly. We wish it didn't happen. It's an imposition for me. It's an imposition for them. But that's just part of life. But if the women's team is not consulted as well, but you got to remember, Mason Greenwood coming back into the club, they had to consult the staff that consists of women. Lots of women and men. Then they had to look at his team.
Yeah, they've had 7 months. Yeah. But specifically to pin it on the women's team, I'm dumbfounded how you don't see that. And by the way, please, we're not having anybody. Let me just say this. Anybody in the comments, have your opinion, but do not abuse people, because trust me, I want everybody to have their say. But if you start abusing the panelists, you're getting banned. Simple as. But that's the bit I don't understand, Bombay, is that you are not understanding or seeing that the women's team the club are throwing the women's team under the bus. And that bit that you're not realizing, I find that really difficult, that you're not understanding that bit.
Is this what we're saying? That the final verdict rests on how the women's team feels?
That's what they briefed, yes. Go and check out the Guardian article. That's what they have said.
Well, I mean, look, it's not easy. It's not great, but if it's a women, I think women are coming out very strong against this. They will be, which is naturally to be expected. And if they have the final say, then they have the final say. Maybe it'll set a good precedent for the future. That, you know what, if you are going to be a dickhead, then we've got a women's team here. There's women's football, and we have to be mindful of the type of men that we induct into football at Manchester United and across the board. So there are pros and cons to it. It is a difficult situation, but I think if the women's team don't have an important say in the matter, they might share the same complexes, they represent the same club, they wear the same shirt, stuff like that, then I think that would cause its own set of problems anyways. I just feel that everybody involved in this, let's say Bruno says, I think he should come back, but De Gea says, no, he shouldn't come back. They're getting abused. They're going to get major abuse. They're going to get called all sorts of names.
Promise you now.
We're getting called. Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I understand what you're saying. But I promise you now. Listen, I promise you now, Manchester United as a football club would not be saying De Gea said, or De Gea's not even in anyway. Bruno said yes. Casemiro said no. Luke Shaw said yes. They're not going to do that. But the bit that I'll come back to you. I'll go to Jarvis and I'll come back to this other thing. Tonight, as we speak today and tonight, Manchester United Football Club are briefing journalists that the decision of whether Mason Green comes back lies solely on the woman. That's what they're briefing. 7-8 days ago, they briefed and said the decision on Mason Green will be made before the beginning of the season.
Nuruddin, on that topic, I just want to say, when it comes to the women team, how are they basing their judgment? Do they have all the facts, or are we just making it up as we go? It's like the Lord of the Flies.
No, they have what everybody's heard.
When there's a bunch of kids stuck on an island, and they just make their own society based on rules and regulations as they make it up on their way. They have no what do you call it?
Listen,
Rules.
No, 100%. I know what you're saying. They have. For me, everybody's heard that. Every time his name trends on
but
Twitter.
do the women team have all the facts?
Well, the facts.
For
I don't
making
think.
that,
Listen, I genuinely believe, other than the victim and Mason Greenwood, who's the abuser, from the footage that we heard and the photos that we seen, that's what everybody's heard. Now, I don't know if Mason Greenwood and his partner have come and met with the women's team and said, this is what happened. We don't know that. Nobody's entitled to that. But do you understand that a club that's made a decision 10 days ago and said a decision on Mason Greenwood would be before the beginning of the season, and then all of a sudden today and yesterday, or maybe late yesterday and today, is that it's on the women's team?
Yeah, for me, it feels like they're putting pressure on the women's team to take this decision. They should have courage enough to take this decision themselves. You know, now they're pushing it onto the women's team, and either way, how they choose, there will be precautions or things that will happen afterwards. You know, because as I see it at the moment, I've seen polls and stuff like that. It's almost like 50-50. And people want Mason Greenwood back, and some won't, and it's very hard. You know, the fronts are very against each other.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't blame some of the people who want him back. If Mason Greenwood was just the absolute average squad player at Manchester United, they would have got rid straight away.
Yeah, just
the problem is a money thing because of the amount of money that his talent is worth. That is all this is about, people. If Mason, and by the way, anybody suggesting otherwise, yeah, I do believe in rehabilitation. Do I believe in second chances? But it's not up to me. I'm not the victim. I'm not the victim to forgive or not forgive people. I am not the victim.
But she's forgiven him.
No, listen to me. Listen, you know, abuse is darker than that. You know, an abuse is darker than that. And Mason Greenwood, no, Bombay, I'm sorry. I have to get this in. You know, this guy's a multimillionaire. You know that the whole family's and her family, all of them are all compromised. But unfortunately, we live in that world where money dictates. Money and fame dictate. And I'm sorry to say, we know that there's women who have been in incredibly abusive relationships, who have stayed, who have had children after child after child. And we know it's not as black and white. It's not as black. We know that. That is the reality, and that's the evidence.
Do we know whether Mason Greenwood is truly embarrassed, ashamed, sorry, reform, getting help? Do we know that?
No. But one thing we do know, that Mason Greenwood broke the law, by the way, the law, by getting in touch with a victim of his alleged crime. We know that bit. That came out with a statement of Greater Manchester Police.
Sure.
So
the problem is with this. I'll tell you what the big issue is with this whole thing. Yeah, there are many motives. There are a lot of men out there that want to appeal to women, that were compassionate and all that. There's that type of voice. Then there's men that are genuinely thinking, nah, this is a dark thing. I don't think I could forgive him. Then there's men that are looking at him like me thinking, this is a dumb young shit with way too much money, got carried away with himself, and he needed this. Hopefully he learns from it. And the fact that she stayed with him, she didn't press charges, her family are all right with her marrying him and they're having a kid and that ending there says something, as opposed to a different ending where I am pressing charges. I would have been having a different convo with you. Now, the person in there, I can't tell that woman, listen, you're not thinking straight. This is Stockholm syndrome. You're going back to him. He's going to do. I can't tell her that. She knows him and he knows her. There's a lot of conjecture in this debate and things that we just are out of our
the evidence.
Sorry?
What we know in the real world, there are women who've written books, countless books, and the stories of women we've heard who have stayed in a relationship for 30 to sometimes 30 years, 20 years, 15, whatever years, in a violent, abusive relationships. That is a fact. That
Yeah.
and
Is there
this shit. Listen to me,
books,
because we're not women, by the way, and touch wood, none of us have experienced any abuse, right?
sure.
We are not experts here. We're not the people, because we can't even phantom the idea, some of us, that somebody can be in an abusive relationship and stay. It's darker and deeper than that.
No, I understand that part. But
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say is, isn't there the possibility that can I put my hand on the Bible or the Quran or the Torah and say, you know what, I may God strike me dead right now. This guy is the worst guy ever. Mendy did everything they accused him of. Can I do that? I can't do that.
No,
I
no, no.
won't
But
do that.
listen,
Never.
listen. At the end of the
So
day,
what I'm
it's
saying
about an
is,
opinion.
like,
It's about an
there's
opinion.
women. Listen. Like there's women that go back. There are men that generally need help. Different role models. They need to understand this is not right. I've worked in a job where I seen domestic abuse and violence. They didn't actually know that that's what this was. They thought this is normal behavior. And the woman rose to the occasion. The girl, the young girls I'm talking about here. We had to say to them, yo, this is abnormal. This is not normal. You can't do this. I had to educate them and send them on counseling courses. What I'm trying to explain to you is I don't know Mason Greenwood personally, but I also know, look, it does not look good. But by the same token, not every time there's a guilty verdict, he's an innocent verdict, he's guilty. There is a stereotype involved in this. There's many facets to this discussion, and we have to consider everything. There's nothing conclusive. There are things that we will never be privy to. The context of their relationship, what's been happening for the last year with you guys. Is this how you get kinky? Why are you going back to him? Why have
At the
your
end of the day,
are your family good? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
no, no. But listen,
There's
listen.
loads
We've
to
not
it.
heard. Listen, we've not heard from her. So we've not heard from either of them to explain a situation. And for me, that's quite telling. That to me is quite telling, because for me, if Mason Greenwood is an innocent person, he would come out and say no charges. This is what, but he's not come out and done that. So at the end of the day, the thing is on him. And for me, she's a victim. From what I saw and what I heard, like I said, I can't unsee what I saw and I can't unhear what I heard. For me, that was enough for me. Now, for some people, that might not be enough. That was enough for me. And by the way, those things are not, certain things are not doctored. We all know what Mason Greenwood sounds like. So please save me the doctoring thing. Save it for some other time, people who want to hear it. We heard what we heard. And abuse and violence against women is darker than you will ever think. And majority of you are not women, and you will never get to experience that. You will never get to experience that. Now, it's up to them. It's up to her, actually, to come out and explain. And actually, no, it's not up to her to explain. No, it's not up to her to explain, actually. It's not. She's a victim. For me, she's a victim. And Mason Greenwood is the guy that should be coming and explaining. But that's what it is for me. But big up to everybody. We've been going for an hour and 38 minutes, which is longer than I thought. I only wanted to do an hour. But we got into it. We unpacked it. It is what it is. At the end of the day, it's simple for me. Manchester United, and I believe in second chances, but I'm not here to give anybody a second chance because I'm not the victim of this violence and abuse. So do I believe that certain victims can forgive and they believe in restorative, I think I can't say restorative justice. There's different ways to get justice around the world. Those kind of things where I'm not here to forgive Mason Greenwood. I'm done, me. I was done. I was grieving. Bumbaye will tell you in the WhatsApp groups or whatever. I was done. I was grieving. I grieved. It's out of my system, me. I don't have this kind of notion of the type of player that he was to ever come back to Manchester United. No. Do I think he can make a living now that he's got a child? 100%. Do I believe that if that the person who he abused and violated wants to give him a second? Yes, they can go and do that somewhere else. But not for me. I don't want to go to the stadium. I've already have hard time going to that stadium every time I go to that stadium. And everybody accusing me giving money to the Glazers when people do not understand the context. That if I don't, I'm replaced by match day experience, corporate experience who are going to just sit there and not say a word or not even have a banner or not to chant anti-Glazer songs. But the idea that I'm going to go and sit there and do that, it's just a personal choice. That's what it is. That's all it is, people. But big up, Jarvis. You're going to say something, Jarvis. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that this is an important debate to have. It's very hard debate to have. We all have women in our life. We respect women. Everybody is against abuse, but I also believe in the law, and we try to find the middle way. It's not up to me or you or anybody on the panel to judge. We don't sit on the power to decide this. We just state our opinions. So and all people in the chat, I think there's a lot of people discussing, and that's good. It's an important discussion to have.
It's definitely, and that's why I wanted to have the conversation.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to jet. I'm having some
we're gonna
technical issues. I think I'm gonna have more technical issues. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
big up.
No, big up.
Big up Mumbai,
Big up Mumbai.
Yeah, big up Mumbai. But yeah, so for me, the big thing is that I was done. I grieved already. I have never talked about a talent as much as I talked about him, and that's why I always think I don't want to put the kiss of death on menu. I don't want to talk about and hype menu up, because this is what it is. By the way, these people, there are other people. Mason Greenwood is not going to be the first footballer. It's not going to be the last footballer. Mendy's not going to be the first footballer, the last footballer.
No.
Some of these people, because of the money they have, they think they live in a different fucking world. They think they can buy and own anybody they want. And I think Windy made a brilliant point about O.J. Simpson, in the idea that O.J. Simpson, everybody knew that he was abusing, but because he was providing for the whole family, that's what happened. That's how it happened. So at the end of the day, for me, I personally do not want to see Mason Greenwood. I'm not alone. Like I said, the fan base is split, like Jarvis says. The fan base is split. And I'm not his victim to be able to forgive him. But do I believe that he has the right to earn a living? Yes. That can he have some redemption somewhere, somehow? Only she can. You know what I mean? Only the victim can, and that's between them. That is only between them for me, personally. So it is what it is, people. Here, we're not afraid to have the difficult conversations. We're not afraid to get heated. We're not afraid to get down to the crux of it and to give our real opinions. And by the way, please nobody here is apologizing for rapists. Nobody here is apologizing abuse against women. Nobody is. Big up Windy. Windy says, "Thank you, panel, for the discussion. It's an important discussion, 100%, and that's why I'm willing to have it. Love and light, Windy, and thank you for your input as well. And big up to everybody. But like I always say on this channel, you can have your say as long as you don't get abusive, as long as you don't get it personal, because it's not personal. It's not personal with our brother Lesso. It's not personal with Jarvis, our main man here. Never gonna let him. We're never gonna let him go. 100%." Rick Ashley and Mumbai. Me and Mumbai have been brothers since we were 10 years old. So you know what I mean. We can get it into. We have that hard disagreements, and it's not personal to him. It's not personal to me. We're just different people, different human beings. We see different things differently, and it's not always in the ways that of being horrible or believing in this or that. It's just a personal opinion. If 10 people watch the same clip, we're going to all see it from different angles. That's the beauty of human beings and our minds. That's how it is. That's how it is, people. So long, don't get abusive. You're all good with me. If you do get abusive, ta-da, you tuned into the wrong community. But big up to everybody. Let's let people know where they can find you, bro. Let's Football TV.
No. Yeah, definitely. You can find me on sorry about that. You can find me at Leicester Football TV right here on YouTube. I haven't put out a stream. I think the last time I put out a stream is when I've had enough. I think my last stream was when I've had enough about the Glazers, and I kind of like stopped doing content after that because I was at a point of breaking. You know? I didn't know how you guys did it. I didn't know how you guys kept on doing it. So props to you guys for your consistency.
The Glazers, mate. The Glazers.
definitely. Like I was just like
They
torn
motivate me.
apart. So
Yeah.
so you can
Glazers
find me at
motivate me.
YouTube. I might maybe definitely. I might actually do a video, but I would like you guys to actually come on it as well. There's topics I actually want to go into in terms of football politics.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can find me on YouTube and then on Twitter as well. It's Black Rain on Twitter. And yeah,
At Black
pretty
Rain, yeah.
much
At Black
that's
Rain.
where you can find me.
Yeah, big up. Big up. Listen, we're
Mm.
going to do one on Saturday if you're available. Jump on because I really want to get your predictions for the season. So it's going to be very interesting. So if you're around Saturday,
Okay.
tomorrow night, people, we're going to do the match at 10:30. Hopefully, we're going to get the second part of the presser. I want to discuss things about the Ten Hag press conference as well. 10:35, and we'll talk to you. We'll do a couple of predictions if you guys are available. Happy to have you on. And big up to everybody. Love and light, people. It is what it is. But make sure you check out Jarvis Cocker at Bowley77 on Twitter. And you can also find him. He does a show on Man UFC Realist TV. Big up Mick as well. Love and light. Big up to everybody. Are you on anywhere else?
No, not now. I'm on this channel and MUFC Realist TV. Today we also had the big interview with one of the best Italian journalists, Alfredo Pedula. I think his name is. He's like one of.
He's been one of the best actually this summer.
Yeah. We had him on as a special guest with an exclusive interview, and he dropped some bombs about Amrabat. So check out our channel if you want to know the answer.
Yeah, big up. Go and check out the channel, people. Go and check out Man UFC Realist TV. Hold tight, Mick, and Jarvis on that channel. Go and check it out. They've had a what's his name? Alfredo
Pedula, I think his name is.
Alfredo
I'm not
Pedula,
that good in Italian, but yeah.
Alfredo Pula. Go and check him out, people. Love and light, people. It is what it is. We keep it 100 here. None of that. No ducking. Go to other YouTube channels. Ask them what they think. Let's see if they have more in-depth conversation about this thing that affects their football club. Hold tight to all the women who protesting against Greenwood. Hold tight the letter that they wrote. Big up to them. We always uplift them. Big up to them. Having the courage to stand up. I know that's going to take a lot. So especially when there's a minority of women who go to the game. So big up to them. Love and light. Yeah. Take care, people. We'll be back tomorrow night with all of the predictions for the season and where we are if we're ready for the game on Monday. But yeah, big up. If you come into the game on Monday, Trinity statue, just there, Trinity Way is the place to be, people. It's the only place to be. Trinity Way. There you go. Glazers out. Glazers out, mate. Win, lose, or draw. Bank us out. Glazers out. There you go. Being your host, Mr. Structure. This has been United Real Therapy. And we out of here, people. Win, lose, draw. Glazers out. Bankers out. Peace, love, light.
Yes.
Solidarity with all victims of abuse. And if you live in the UK, there are numbers available for you to get in touch with and get some help. Take care, people. Peace.